All right, here we are. I hope the audio works. The first time when I first did this and the audio didn't work, now I have PTSD about it. But all right, this is what we have. So again, staying true to this format here, everything that we draw is going to be in real time on stream. I'm going to try to do this daily. This is going to be day 3. Let's start here. So here's our old friend Ethereum. There really isn't much to talk about here because I've already been talking about it. This line, I don't know, I might have actually put this line off stream. So another thing that I like to do is, especially on long time frames or high time frames, what I like to do is, again, I'm always looking for confluence. I'm always looking for confluence among time frames. Another thing that just when you're in the habit of doing things, we're on a 4-hour, let me see. When you develop habits of doing things, what tends to happen is when you put your hands on it a lot, you do things without even thinking about it. So for example, if I'm looking at this Ethereum and I'm looking at it on a higher time frame, these are all 4-hour candles. So each candle here represents 4 hours. And what I like to do, again, I talk about confluence quite a bit, but what I like to do pretty much without thinking is I like to look at volume, and I like to look at where are there significant points of resistance and significant points of support. And that could be either when we're looking at 4-hour candles over a period of time. This is the beginning of 2021. And this over here is today. So we'll call that it's less than 6 months. But what we have here is we have some significant points. Obviously, in recent times, this drop off, very significant, which brought us from here to here, which again, I mean, I speak about this golden pocket quite a bit. But, we can clearly see at this point in time where we are, we have a clear level of support. We're playing around here as resistance. Now, I don't know if I explained this very well in the past, but what we're looking for, and you can see it on here quite a bit, you're looking for these things called support resistance flips. And what ends up happening is these lines, if you can imagine, they act as support and they act as resistance depending on where we are in the time frame. And what you want is you want your resistance areas to begin to act as an area of support. Now, that doesn't mean just for like a minute or two or for like 3 hours or something, because we all know, if you're watching this, we all know that there's volatility in these markets, especially when you're playing around in all-time highs and things of that nature. This is really just the purpose of, I guess, market psychology a little bit, and also just giving yourself some form of tool instead of, you turn on your phone or something and you get this news that the sky is falling, and a day later, and this is the reason why, and this tweet made this happen, and all of these things. Like it gets really noisy. I can't really express that enough. It gets way, 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 way too noisy. So I kind of lost my train of thought here. Hang on. So this line, I think I actually built this line. I know I've made a commitment to only chart this on stream here, but I felt the need to put this line here. And the reason why I felt the need to put this line here is it's a trend line, right? And you can see where we hit it many times. I mean, if we drill in here, you can see, it's not perfect. I could probably move this line up a little bit, but just for this exercise, we could see how much volume is here to lift that up. And then it was trying to, let's just say, just talking in market psychology sense, there was enough volume trying to bring that down too. You have to understand there was years and months and years and months and years and months before this. Not years and months. I mean, this is Ethereum. What we have is a clear area here. Oh, you know what? Let me turn that off. Hang on just a sec. Okay, so what we have is we have a what I would consider over a long or a high time frame over a long period of time, we have a clear area of support. Support, 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 supported. So it's like skipping a rock over the lake, right? It almost hit there. And you can see when, and this is something that I just, again, I have to try to do a better job of explaining kind of what I'm looking at. What you can see is the volume spikes. And the volume spikes is, okay, the volume spiking up, or, you know, and then what is the action that's happening? If you remember yesterday, I discussed that the red and green volume, it's not really necessary. I mean, because volume is volume. Sometimes it'll get a little bit distracting, even with, you know, the red and green volume, but I'm not going to get into all that. So we have, and then it starts kind of moving up in this area. Now, here we are today. Again, these are actually 2-hour candles. I think it's because I clicked down here to look at 6 months. So these are 2-hour candles. And what we see here is that there was a clear reaction there. That's why I thought it was a good idea. And you know what we'll do? We'll just so that we know what we're up to. It's going to be it's just the golden line. And the reason why is because when we start getting over here, I don't want to get confused, but I don't want to remove this line. I mean, we could hide it, but I'm a visual person, and I think a lot of people are visual people as well. And especially when we're thinking in terms of trying to make educated analysis thoughts, you know, some of these tools are good to have. So you see here, I mean, I've talked about this in the past. You see in this range, it was ranging here from, it's pretty much the entire month of April. And then there was a decision, the market made a decision that we're going up. Where we are today, I think yesterday there was some talk in the Discord about channels, and there was some talk. So basically what I was able to do is just, without really thinking too hard about it, we were somewhere in this neighborhood before it fell through, I think. The picture's on the Discord. So none of this information from here to here was available, but we were able to build a channel. It was obviously going on a downtrend for that point in time and space. And we broke through that channel. So that channel was, in fact, what you would call, it was tested. At the test, it brought us back to this area. Now that, hang on a second. This, I actually just created too. So this is actually not a Fibonacci line. So full disclaimer, this is not a Fibonacci line. This is another line. So full disclaimer again. So basically I did draw a couple things and it wasn't on, I didn't do it live. So this line here and this line here, we already know where this line came from. I had made a decision to put this line here based on previous action. So based on where we touched. So this is like the meat of the action. And then just for a smidgen amount of time, it touched down to this Fibonacci, this 0 on the Fibonacci. And then on the way up, got rejected. And then it touched. And at this point, this line wasn't there. I made the decision to put it there. So that's what that line is. It's what I would call like a local support. And you can see it bounced off of that local support and went back into the channel, and it went back in very aggressive. So you can see here, like, you can call this area or this now a very supported region, I would say. Like this area here. Very, very, very supported region. When it gets into that region, there seems to be a lot of movement to the upside. And we can see that here. So when we were just kind of messing around in the channel, dip, 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 let's try to get past it, right, so to speak, you know, then what we do is we end up testing the channel, dropping off of the channel, and we end up flying all the way back up past here and then into our fib line. Gets rejected very, very hard from that fib line. And to someone that's not looking at this, they're going to be like, okay, they just looked at it on their lunch break and, or whatever it is at nighttime. This is nighttime here. They looked at it at nighttime and by golly, the sky is falling, but it's not, it's just ranging. It's just ranging. And then you can see here the work back up. Now, what kind of information do we have here? We have a lot. We have that these Fibonacci lines are in fact being respected and they are in fact being tested. We have a drop off of volume. So from here, there was a lot of volume and the volume is kind of tapering off at this point. So now we have kind of from, I guess, midnight Eastern Standard until now, there really hasn't been a lot of volume, but the volume that there has been, because you can see it's tapering. This volume is, that's good. This volume's tapering, right? There's less volume, but we can see that it didn't take that much volume to get us from this bottom all the way up here to the point now where we're double tapping into that area. So what we're going to be looking for today and throughout the day is what happens in this area? What happens right now? Does it get rejected? Does it end up hitting this area or this point up here where we were getting clear rejections before? Does it end up hitting this area and then we end up getting rejected back down? You know, there's a lot of conversations in the Discord of should I buy? When do I buy? I mean, it's not necessarily, I mean, if that's what you're into, fine. But, you know, if you're trying to figure it out and you want to have skin in the game for a long time, I think patience. I think you just have to be patient. And hopefully these kind of things help, you know, just doing the best I can. All right. That's Ethereum. We're going to look at Bitcoin. Now, this is actually in the same exact time and space, right? So here's Ethereum. Here's Bitcoin. I would say it's doing kind of the same thing. Now, if you wanted to confirm your own bias, like, look, we have Zupa-da-doo. We got Zupa-da-doo. So they're tracking together. If you wanted to, let's just say, confirm your own bias, and I don't really want to get into it too crazy here, but you could put a line here and say, hey, we're going back up to the moon, you know, which helps. I mean, you can see there, this right here is very aggressive. That's very aggressive. And it's continue, you know, so let's just say if we were, and I'm going to leave that line there, just, you know, we'll call this the aggressive line. A lot of the times you're going to hear about these things called W's. When you see these W's, they end up drawing very high to the upside. So there's going to be guys, you know, in the market, there's going to be a number of people that are in the market and they see this W and they think we're going full ham sandwich. I wouldn't be able to tell you where we're going. But like I said, I hope this helps. I'm going to leave that there because what we'll do is, as time progresses, we'll see actually what ended up happening. You know what? I'm going to put it on a smaller. I'll call that fairly accurate. I mean, it's not perfect. It's not perfect, but it's fairly accurate. So we'll leave that there on Bitcoin. Let's check our friend ADA. ADA is going. It's been doing very well. So you can see this is different. Well, similar. It's very similar. But the way that the Fibonacci's are, they're all different too. So we need to realize that as well. The Fibonacci's are done differently on all of these, which I think what we have is, golly, I don't remember if this was on the up or the down. So on this Fibonacci, what we have is the golden pocket is, we're going to call it down. And this Fibonacci, so that's just the difference here. So this is going downward, and this is, I must have taken this must have been from here to here. Let me just double check. I'll get a line in there. No, it's supposed to be there. Got to zoom out. So, okay, so this is from here to here. And the reason why it's just, look, if we wanted to do it the other way from here to here, we're going to get a different story. It's going to be similar, but it's still going to ride on certain lines. If you were to start practicing this, my suggestion would be to do it from the most recent action, from either top to bottom. But if you want to look at it on a long time frame, which I think that's why, you know, since this all has a little bit of history, decent amount of history, going from kind of the low point to the high point. Anyway, let's get into it. So this was that line that we built yesterday just for giggles. And you can see here, we're in the area of reacting in the golden pocket, and there's moves going up. So again, are we going to go back up? I would say there's a strong possibility, but be conscious of these levels, this level here, and obviously the support. And even this may act as support because it's acted as support in the past. This range here is acted as support. So it could possibly go up, and then it could probably test here. And if it breaks, it, you know, the probability is that, I don't think it's going to hit all the way down here, but look, I'm not here to say anything about, I just would much rather analyze this. So what we have is, let's see what kind of action's going on in here. Trying to find it as support, fell through, hit down here, violent move up, tap, 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 broke through, gets rejected, up, soup, soup, we're over. So we're over this line. So let's just say, and this is typically how it goes, there's a lot of people in the market. There's going to be a number of people that look at these charts and they analyze them. There's going to be a number of people, you know, there's just a lot of things. You're trying to read the matrix, right? You're never going to catch the tops. You're never going to catch the bottoms. Things are going to happen where you make the right move and it just doesn't, you know, this is a wild place we're in. This is a wild place. So here we go. Tappity tap tap. Broke back through. Okay. Broke back through. Panic, panic. And then we make it to this point. And again, I'm going to just draw another line. And this is because we see something here, right? I'm going to draw it here. I think that's going to be the right. And then what I'll do is I'll kind of lift it up. The reason why is because we have a lot of, I wouldn't call it violence, but there's a lot of volatility and activity right here. So that's why I'm cutting through that line. And this is the old tappy tap, 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 tap game. So what we also have, and I know we talked about this, and let's not get too crazy, but I am going to, actually, you know what we're going to do? We're not going to use that line. We're going to get silly with it. And we'll just see what happens. Oh boy. Oh boy. I got to redraw this thing. Exciting stuff, I know. Super exciting. Oh, yeah. All right, here we have it. So we talked about patterns a little bit, and we can see a pattern here. It's on a not really a high time frame. It's like a day. It's like a day. But we have all this activity and action. We have this information. We have the golden pocket information. We have where the bottom was information. We just have a lot of information here. So my initial thought was draw a trend line here. saw a little something, but the difference and the difficulty that we have here is there wasn't necessarily a tap, but there was a tap back here. So it's not drawn into the triangle. This is why, you know, if there was a line going across this way, you can see that there's a clear situation. There's something going on here. There's a clear level of resistance over the course of, you know, the past day or two. So we'll see how this goes. We'll just see how this goes. You know, we'll see what happens. That's ADA. Matic. It's kind of just prancing around. Litecoin. Litecoin's playing around in space a little bit as well. Just kind of, you know, consolidating and just kind of see there's a lot of, you know, this was across the board, May 21st at 10. There was that drop off pretty much everywhere, getting rejected off of whatever it is. Cake looking very similar. So I didn't hear much talk about DOT, and I'd like to just put that on the list as well. DOT. All right, so we have clear levels here. I would say from this point, I mean, this is going to be a little weird and it's not going to be perfect. So I'm going to call it from this point. Let's see what this looks like. Close. It's not going to be perfect, but we do have data. We do have data here. Okay, so this is the drop from 50 on May 15th. Pretty round number there. And this is where we are. This range, 60%. I don't know, for some reason, maybe that's, I don't think that's the proper tool, quite honestly. I think that's why. This range is 60%. I'm sorry. Yeah, 60% range. Now, we have this line here from here in that space. That's why it's not really going to be perfect here. In this space, there was a clear test of this area, and it broke through that area, got really excited, got rejected, and then started on this run up here. A lot of activity off of this golden pocket. So we have pretty good, I would say we're pretty accurate here with this. So for right now, we're kind of just playing in space. So let's try something else. Actually, you know, I'm going to wait for another episode to kind of start drilling in here and doing kind of lower time frame analysis. I think it'll just get way too confusing. We got some stuff happening. You know, there's something going on here. And we're coming up to something right now as well. And I think we saw this on the Litecoin. I think we saw this on the Litecoin chart as well. So just kind of simple things and volume. Volume spikes, and the volume is tapering off at this point on a higher time frame. No, not really a higher time frame. This is just a couple days. So there's DOT. Where is it going? I don't know. Where is it in history? We have all that information here. Oh, yeah. We'll just do this. So we have the information as to where we are in history. And again, I mean, I know it wasn't really brought up in the chat. I was actually wondering why. I was actually waiting for, you know, when is Doc going to get brought up? But now we have that on our 5555 watch list. I think someone else actually asked for Sol. Solana. And here's your old friend Solana. Looks pretty similar. Do we go all the way down? Yeah, let's do it. So this is April 5th. Let's do it. Might not be perfect. Doesn't really matter. It at least gives us levels. Okay. So I would say, just looking at this quickly, there was a test, gets rejected, starts testing it again. Remember, we're looking at 2 hour, 2 hour candles here. Testing it again, and it runs up, gets rejected over here, runs up, or I'm sorry, starts, testing it, runs up, pops over, activity. This area for this Fibonacci for this period of time indicates that it has acted as a clear point of support. And now we're testing it as resistance. So we'll drill in this way. So we also have data here too. We have from the top or the secondary top or whatever, and we also have this too. So I'll actually draw it backwards and just kind of see what happens. It's getting close. I mean, it's not perfect. Is this going to be your crystal ball as to where it's going? No. Is it going to give you a little bit of more information as to probabilities and possibilities? Yes. Will you get better the more you do this? Absolutely. Is this chart perfect? Probably not. I'm not an expert at this. But there's clear data here. And what we have is we have a lot of volatility, which is sometimes good. I mean, a lot of this volatility has been lost, but I mean, that bounce from the 19th, basically across the board, was enormous. I mean, for this one here, the bounce was 45. If you're able to catch the bottom and the top, 50 even. And it plays very well. And, one common theme you're going to see with these Fibonacci's is it plays very well into the ranges. It gives you data, and the data should help. What was this? So we're building up our list here. This is community picks. If you have a request or anything to that nature, by all means, let me know. I don't know how many people watch this, probably not that many. And it's probably not the most exciting thing in the world. You would probably have, it's just, I get it. It makes sense. It makes sense. So here's total market cap. This is the entire market cap for a crypto. It's called crypto cap. Basically, here's the top, here's the bottom, here's where we're playing in. I'd like to, whatever, we'll just do it. It's not going to be perfect. This line's not going to be perfect. We could always adjust it at some point, but the reason why I chose this is because you have the top and then you have kind of recent activity rejection, But hey, I'm going to tell you something. At any moment, depending on what it is, something happens at any moment. It could possibly bust through this and start going, this. But what this does is this will give you levels as to probabilities. That's really all this is. It's not a crystal ball. It doesn't mean that every single time we hit this line here, we're going to get clear rejections. It doesn't mean any of that. It doesn't mean that anytime we hit this, it's going to be very clear, on the upside. It just doesn't mean that. What am I looking for? Oh, one other thing. Let's see. We'll look at Ethereum. So one thing about Ethereum too, and this talk of volume, is there's another tool. Where is it? This is it. So with this, geez, since this is a default chart, it doesn't give me the way I normally like to see it. We'll do that. And okay. So, oh boy, this is not. Okay. So this is VPSV. And what it is this is volume. You can notice that the You can notice that the volume is, it's shown in a different way versus that horizontal way. And what this is, if you recall when I had talked about the time of day that the time of the day that the crypto market starts, it's 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern. And you can see here, what this does is this is what you could call session volume. And what this does is this, sorry about this again. Where is it? Oh, okay, cool. So what this does is this gives you an idea of, let's hide this. Actually, we could just get rid of it. Whatever. What this does is this gives you an idea of where is the volume during the day on the map. And if you say, the map, basically, let's just say, for example, this day with a big drop. So there's the big drop here, and you can see that it's basically from here to here. And where was the volume? Where was the majority of the action? And the majority of the action, this is what you would call the point of control. So, or POC. You can look that up as well. And what we have here with this point of control is you can see that the majority, or all of the volume, the majority of the volume was right here at this point of control. Let me see if I could, what's a good way to do this? Okay, better. Okay. Okay, so these are 5-minute candles again, by the way. So what we have is the majority of the volume was right here in this area at this 2676, which means that there's a lot of interest there, either up or down. On this particular moment, you could see that there was a lot of down pressure. So, point of control is something that you need to think about. And then you can also look here, and again, being very visual. This is obviously the point of control for the day, but the second point of control for the day, what I would call, and this is kind of an arbitrary thing, there was a lot of volume over here in this area. This was that volume that took it down, right? But this is the volume that was bringing it back to where it's going to be the next day. The point of control is here. Let me see, I might be able to, boy. Better. Okay. So you can see right here where, point of control there as well. And it's basically being supported. So this is very supportive volume. And then we're obviously up here, and then there's the decision to break it down. And then this ends up being a very, the point of control for the day. Tested down here. So you can kind of see the story, right? And here we are today. Now we don't have a full day of activity. They could, run through here and go all the way up to the, but again, you want to use volume here, and you want to use kind of this. And this isn't something that's not going to be a, it's more information to give you confluence, right? And again, we can get into the, RSIs and EMAs and SMAs, and we can do all that. But in an effort to just make it as least amount of confusing as possible, just trying to keep it minimal. What do we have here? All right, so just for messing around, because I didn't want to delete this before, just for ha-has and just kind of messing around here. This channel, it was broke up to the upside rather quickly, and then back down, and then we're trying to get back into the channel. It ran back up the channel quickly. I mean, you can see there's a clear story here. It ran back up quickly again, and then it tried to test to go back down, right? But there was a clear area of support. Hops back over, taps off of here, runs up to the top, and now we did the little double tap. We did the little double tap action here. So where is this going? It's not really for anyone to decide. It's just information. It's just information. In this world of ours, it's good to try to not confirm your own biases. And if you're new, try not to let the noise make decisions for you, and especially financial decisions. It's just, I don't think it's a good place to start. I was curious. I wanted to check out how many VeeFriends were left. So gift goats, when I looked at it earlier, there was only 50. Oh boy, 47. So these things are going extinct quickly, guys. All right, and then another thing I want to just take a look at too is, let's see these rares. Ooh, 77 going extinct. Look, if you're new to the space as well, CoinMarketCap is always a good place to go. That's why I put this on a tab. It's always a good place to go to kind of just get surface level information. You heard me talk about Cardano and how I feel as it's a major, 100%. So you've got top 10, top 20 is what I would kind of consider majors, depending on what it is. So what you have is you've got Bitcoin, and here's the information. You always want to, you're always going to have guys, they're telling you, listen, the Bitcoin's going to go to 100,000 or whatever this year. They give you a time frame and they give you all that. We always need to consider market cap. Always. This number is not going anywhere without the beef behind it. You need the beef behind it. Ethereum, again, I hear all this stuff about Ethereum's going to 10,000. I mean, I don't know, man. They might know a lot more than all of us. I don't know, but market cap. And then, these are good things to kind of take a look at too, but over analyzing and all that stuff, there's this thing, it's called paralysis by analysis, right? So just try to keep it simple. Binance, I would consider a major. Cardano, Doge, I look at for giggles, when I hear about it, and just kind of, XRP, very, very, it's got a big fan base behind it. So here's DOT. So this is why I was wondering why no one really brought up DOT. And this is that ICP. This project, I think it was the past couple weeks, it got a lot of traction because of the amount of market cap that it ended up absorbing in a very, very short amount of time, and rightfully so. This is a tether. Tether is a tether. This is a tether. Bitcoin Cash, Uniswap, Litecoin. This is another one that doesn't get, for some reason, no one talks about this. No one talks about Chainlink or Polkadot in the Discord. XLM, I've seen that get brought up. We just did Solana. Matic. I don't see this come up either. I don't see VET come up, and I don't really see Theta come up. Or EOS. EOS has been around a long time. And then it starts getting into, I guess, oh, wow, Shiba. Oof, Shiba. Kusama, this is a dot project. Pretty much the biggest thing on the dot. And yeah, if you've never been here, this is a good place to go. I think that's it. If you have any sort of questions, comments, concerns, let me know. If you have any requests, let me know. If you have any, what's the best way to do this or whatever, I mean, let me know. If you want to ask what to buy and when to buy it, don't let me know. That's way too much responsibility. I think that's way too much responsibility for a lot of people. And I think that should always be considered. But I'd like to get into the alt market cap later on. And I don't know, maybe a few other projects. I mean, I like the list where we're at right now. But, if I'm going to do this every day, we can get a couple good additions on here. We can get a couple good additions. So that's it. Appreciate you guys watching. If you like it, throw a like. If you feel like subscribing, I'm going to try to do this every day. Go ahead and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the Discord.